everyone, welcome to Jackie's Creative Lifestyle. I'm glad you've joined me today. I'm going to share with you one of my favourite stamp sets, and it's probably my favourite stamp set in the last year, I would think. It's called We Must Celebrate, and you'll understand why, because there's just so many things we can do with it. And we're going to start off and we're going to stamp up these animals in a second, and I'm just going to give you the measurements for the cardstock that we need. And I'm going to use a thick Whisper White cardstock for this card. And I'm going to start giving you those measurements of 29.5 centimetres by 10.5 centimetres. That's what you're going to need for this first flip part of the card. So there we have it there, and it's going to be scored at 15 centimetres. You're going to need a piece of Whisper White, that's 14 by 9.5. Wisteria Wonder, 14.5 centimetres by 10 centimetres, and of course a scrap piece of paper. Now we're just going to use our basic black ink, and I'm going to just stamp my main stamp of animals up. Now we're not going to use all these animals, but I am going to chop it up, so it's easier to do it this way and just print them all or stamp them all. So there we have that. Now we're going to start colouring this gorgeous little bear, and I'm going to use the light crumb cake, and I have an ivory pen from a little ways back, but you can use the dark and the light crumb cake that we have at Stampin' Up. So we're going to start, I'm going to use this lighter one in the tummy area, and I'm just going to show you how I colour, because a lot of people have asked how I get the shadings. It's not working for them. So I put one layer on, and I'm going to do the nose and the tummy, and then I go back where I want it to be a bit darker, so where the shading would be, and I just run it around in the same colour. Don't switch colours, you don't need to. And so you can just work with your lights if you'd like, and see how you can see like it goes lighter into his tummy. That's all you need to do, is just darken up with the same pen. And I'm just going to show you using the crumb cake how you can do that on the actual body itself as well. So it's just one layer of colour, and we take that all the way around, just smooth. Now with the blenders, the ink will all blend together, so you won't get that felt line that you get with normal felts. This will just merge together. It's the alcohol based in the pen, and it will stop it from giving you lines, and that's what gives you that amazing finish. So then I just go back where I want the shading, and I just go over it with a couple of strokes, and that's going to give me that shade of from dark to light. So if you are wanting to get some of these pens, just let me know. The email will be at the end of the video, and I can get them out to you. They're very reasonable. They're only $9.50 each. So it's nice to build up a nice collection of colouring pens, especially these ones. Now I'm just going to grab the light. Now this is the smoky slate, light smoky slate, and with this little squirrel, I'm just going to use and colour just a few pieces of it. Now I'm going to stop right here because I have pre-done some, and I'll bring that in now, and I've just fussy cut around the outside. There I go again, doing my fussy cutting. So there we have that one. Now I'm just going to fussy cut out a bear that I've finished, and we'll just speed that up a little bit so you don't have to watch the monotonous me trying to fussy cut. Actually, I love fussy cutting. I cut out about 30 of these the other day. I did have sore hands at the end of it, but I enjoyed it. Now, at the top of that bear, you'll notice that I have actually not cut in around the ears. You don't need to do that because we're going to cover it when the little squirrel sits on his head. So bring back your first piece of Whisper White that we measured up, and we're going to just add a little bit of texture to the ground. So this is going to be where the bear is standing. So I'm just going to grab my sponge, and I'm using crumb cake ink pad, and I'm just going to stamp it very lightly so that you can see a little bit of dusting of soil on the paper. Well, that's what it's going to look like. It's going to look like some soil. So just keep that going till you get it to the shade that you want that to be. So that's all we do there. Now I'm just going to put some adhesive. Now notice with these alcohol markers, it does come through the other side, and that shows a really nice good pen. There we go. So I just pop that sitting on the soil there. It's like if you can do it in a half moon shape, you get like a little mound effect. And then I'm just going to pop this little squirrel on top. Now I did do another card exactly the same as this, and I put a dimensional under the squirrel. So it's either or, it's which whichever way you would like to do it. So pop them up there on our little bear's head. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is just grab another couple of stamps. I'm going to grab the snail and I'm going to grab an acorn. And I want to just really make that ground area stand out and make it look a little bit more like they're standing on the ground. So I'm just going to pop the little acorn over and pop that next to the bear. And then I'll just pop some colour on that in a moment. Grab our snail. And we'll just pop that on the little mound as well. Now I am going to colour the snail in the same colour as I'm popping in behind this card, the Wisteria Wonder, and just going to make the little shell that colour so that it ties the images into the card that is in behind this this Whisper White cardstock. So just use a little bit of brown and use those same colours you've used on the bear if you like. Just give it 2 tones, top and bottom. And here's the Wisteria Wonder pen that I have. And I'm just going to pop that onto his shell. And then a little bit of pink on the actual snail. So I've just completed doing a presentation at On Stage, our local event in Auckland. So that took me off YouTube for a little bit because I had a lot to prepare for that. So I'm sorry I went missing for a few weeks. But I'm back now, and we had a wonderful time. It's just such an amazing event to be a part of, and some incredible women that I met on the day, which I haven't met prior. So that was really exciting. Okay, so all is done. Now I'm going to grab the new punch that was released at On Stage. It has some wonderful little edges on it, and I am over the next few weeks going to show you the different usages of it. We're going to use the corner rounder, and all it is each corner of this punch does something different. So today we are using the rounder. It's very simple to use, and I was very lucky to get one of these punches, and I have been using it crazy since I got it. Whoops. So now I'm just rounding the corner of the Wisteria Wonder that is going to be underneath that top card, and now I'm doing the main card. That's a little bit harder because I've used that thick Whisper White. And there's all the little bits. So that's going to be an amazing punch. I can't wait. That's all going to be released in the new release 1st of June. Now I'm just going to grab my Project Life pen, journaling pen, and I'm just going to add a little bit of movement around these animals by just popping some lines in, and you'll see closer up on the end slate that I put in at the end of this video what I actually did with these lines, because you probably can't see very well. But I use lines and dots, and this gives movement to the images. So if you want that bear or that squirrel to look like it's been moving, then you just pop some little lines around it and some dots, and you get that movement. I'm also going to pop some down here on the ground, and that's going to give us a nice wee look down there too. You'll see how it actually changes the image. You can use this in many ways, and I have been using this a lot in my Project Life and in the past videos that I've done, and by putting it actually around the edging of the cards. Today I'm going to do that. I'm going to pop it around the edge, but I'm only going to do part of the edge, so I'll show you how I do that in one moment. But yeah, just pop some little dots around, and then I'm just going to come around and I'm going to do this quite rough and rugged, and I'm going to do a second line which is crossing back and forwards over that line as you go around. So just move the pen back and forwards over the line. Then just pop some little dots in, and this is what I put on just to finish it off, so that you feel like you're actually tying the whole thing together and popping little dots in between those breaks. And that's all you really need to do there, and when you see that close-up image you'll understand what I was actually doing there. So that's all we need to do with that part, and we'll tie that all together with a piece of ribbon. So all we do with the back here with the ribbon is I like to really make sure I secure this ribbon in place, because the last thing we want to do is have a card when we open it and the ribbon pop off. it's something that's happened to me before and I never want it to happen again. So I pop a little bit of snail. This is going to fix that ribbon in place while I secure it much more tighter. So it's a good way of being able to move it too, as you can see. So pop that around, and that's just going to hold the ribbon in place, and it's not strong enough to hold that ribbon there permanently. So I'll come in with my tear tape. Now this tape is it's a really, really strong tape, and I find that if I want anything to stay permanently, I will always resort to this. So popping it over the ribbon like that will keep that completely in place. We won't have any accidents. So I'm just going to pop some snail in and around it, and I will take that backing off, and that's going to give me some extra adhesive there as well as holding that ribbon in place. Sometimes it gets a little tricky to grab that tape off, and especially when you're in a hurry and you're doing a video. Of course you want it to come off fast, and of course it's not going to. Okay, bring in that Whisper, oh God, now I've got all the colours confused. That Wisteria Wonder, pop it on, and make sure you just push down firmly behind that ribbon. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're just going to grab some sayings. So I want to make this a birthday card. So we will pop the birthday saying sentiment on there first. And I'm just going to use black for this, and it actually looks quite nice done in the Wisteria Wonder as well, because I have done it in that, and I actually don't have the card on me to show you. I've sent it off but to a friend. But the black is actually quite good too, because it leads into those lines that go around the outside of the card. So it just looks like a bit of a follow-on from that. So yeah, it's just either or. And that's the great thing about card making. You can actually change it up as much as you like. And do whatever you want with your cards, and it really doesn't matter because it's what you think in the end. I'm going to have to probably pull this a bit closer to me. I think I might go out of shot in a second. Yep, there it is. I've taken it out of shot. I do not want to get this in the wrong place. So there we go. Lined it up with happy birthday, and we got it all in there nice and perfect. Next thing we want to do is I want to just tie a little bit of ribbon around this piece here, just to give some texture and movement to the card, and that's simply just tying a wee knot and pulling it through. Trim that back too, because that looks a lot tidier when we do that to our cards. So there we go. Now we're getting near the end of this gorgeous card, and just think, using any colour, because you've got such basic, like your grounding colours with your images, you can bring in any colour and pop it behind. Just change the colour of your snail. Doesn't have to be this colour. You could do red and all sorts of colours. And you can use DSB in behind it as well. And that's Designer Series paper too, by the way, sorry. Shouldn't use my abbreviations. So just line this up on the card there. Put some pressure on, and you have a gorgeous card to send out to a friend. Now you can pop another image on the inside if you want. I pop images on the backs of my envelopes as well, so I stick the little snail crawling along my envelope, and that looks quite sweet as well. So thank you for joining me today. I look forward to seeing you again soon. Please join me for my next video, because my next video is going to be using the same stamp set here, which is We Must Celebrate, and I'm going to use it using the whole of the animals, so all the animals, and doing it a little bit different. If you would like to subscribe, I would love you to do so that you can catch the next video. Also, if you'd like to join my team and have some fun, and maybe this is just a hobby for you, I'd love you to be a part of my team. Thank you for joining me today. Bye.